Hey, long time no see. I haven't made a video in a super long time, and so I'm going to catch everybody up on a lot of things that I've been doing in the last 3 to 4 weeks. Because there's been a lot of stuff that's happened. So, intro music or something. Okay, so let me kind of take you around the room here. This is my theater room. I finally got around to putting up gig posters in the theater room. There's like a local craft store that is going out of business, and that's where I get all my frames for my artwork. Like the pages that I buy and everything. I love these posters. These are awesome. And so I cleaned them out and spent way too much money, but they're having like 40% off fairly inexpensive frames anyway. And so now I have those. And so that's one thing. The projector goes into the wall, the cords don't hang down, and then we have our computer and everything kind of on the other side. So this is like a door I can shut. I finally got this framed. This is a Jason Copeland original here. And so I finally was able to frame that because it was bigger than an 11 by 17 that I normally have. Little Jed Henry action. And some fan art that we bought. So anyway, so there's that weird faux taxidermy thing as well. And because I am I'm just so freaking lazy, guys. I bought a cheap rowing machine, and it faces the projector so that I can kind of see what's going on. And so I'm trying to do this 3 to 5 times a week. It's been more like 3 times a week. But I do 15, 20 minutes on that, which is killer. And then I got some new fish. And so I don't know if the new fish can... Oh yeah, here's one of them. So this guy is an albino Oscar. And that is a tiger Oscar. And he is, just to give you size reference, fairly huge. And so he's giant. This guy is going to be about the same size. This guy's firemouth, he's also very large. And he, I have a Jack Dempsey right there. That Jack Dempsey is going to be about the same size as the firemouth. Now he's about 2 inches right now, but he'll get up to about 8 inches. And that albino is going to get up to about 12 to 14 inches like the tiger Oscar. And the problem is that these guys are super aggressive. And so they've been playing nice together, and then I added 2 fish, and it became like Lord of the Flies preschool in there, and they started freaking out. And so I'm not sure who's doing it, but I had a catfish in there for like over a year, and I added a dragon fish, or I can't remember, but it's not an eel, but it's very eel-like. It's supposed to get up to like 14 inches. It would have been awesome. They just those 2 fish, they just bit their heads off. They didn't even eat them. They just beheaded them. Anyway, this tank is pretty vicious. Like my plecos are armored. And so this is the smaller pleco. He is about a foot. And then the bigger pleco, it's probably about 1.5 feet. They're pretty dang big. Maybe not 1.5 feet, but he's probably 14 to 18 inches. Anyway, and this dude is going after those guys. So, you guys probably don't care about my fish. But I'm excited about my fish. I just wish that they would quit eating each other. But it is a fairly vicious tank. And then there's some more gig posters. So I finally got all my gig posters up. Pretty excited about that. Then I'll show you some of this action. So as those of you that have been watching these videos for a while know, I've been part of a creative incubator, ArtLink 212, and they paired me up with a mentor, and so there's kind of this creative mentorship situation going on for my book. And it's been rad. I'm paired up with a guy named Steve Leeper, and you should look up his work because he's great. And it's been very interesting to get his feedback. So I want to talk about some of the changes that I've made to my book because of talking to him.
So one thing that he had me do, which I thought was really cool, was go in and take one of my main characters and kind of see how he would move. And so I took a mix of ballet and martial arts and some athletics and traditional Japanese dancing, and I did a bunch of different studies with my main character and how he moves. And it turned out really cool. I really like a lot of the extremes that we kind of went to kind of see, you know, how this guy would move and dance and sing. Because he dances and sings and plays in this book. And I had never kind of explored like the physical limits of how he would do that. And so I kind of threw that in there, and I thought it turned out really great. And it was a fun exercise to kind of see the physical limitations of this guy and how he could kind of express himself more than just his face.
So this is an exercise that he wanted me to do that I thought was really interesting. And I had done something similar to this already, but not in the same way. For some reason, I was viewing these pages as single pages rather than spreads. I think I was coming at it kind of like comic books, where in comics you're not sure like where the editor is going to place an advertisement, and so you have to kind of, in the most part, just deal with the pages as pages, and it's difficult to tell whether it's going to be left-facing or right-facing page or whatever, unless it's created around. What I had done is I had looked at all of these as like individual pages instead of spreads, and he said, well, how does this look as a spread? And I thought, I don't know. So then I got out my big easel drawing board, and I did these little drawings. They're about 3 inches tall, and I used a fat Sharpie. And so this one right here was a problem because both pages, this page, where's my finger? There we go. This page and this page I had done individually, but I hadn't thought about them as they would look combined in the book, and it was a huge problem. And so what I've done here is I used that tree as kind of a framing device to show that it's like a passage of time or a different time period. And so over here, you're going to see this other drawing, and I'm going to Photoshop that in and maybe cut that out or something. I don't know, but do that. And so it was really fascinating to go through and kind of do this example, though, and I'll show you on the screen here in a minute as how that's actually. I'll show you right now. I'll just show you how it's laid out. This is stupid, but I'm lazy and I don't want to edit this later, and so I'm just going to turn the light off and just video my screen, which is the worst way to do this. But here's my plan, right? You can kind of see the plan. And I made these icons. Let me show you these icons because I do stuff like this. So these icons right here on the side will tell you whether it's thumbnailed, penciled, inked, colored, and lettered. And so I can go through, and the ultimate goal is on all of this is to turn everything green. And if I turn everything green, I'm done with the book. And so I counted everything and I started to lay out a plan. And so I have a plan here, and my plan is that I've got 38 pages over 19 spreads. And then these are kind of right here. These are the ones that I have to, it's hard to point and hold this thing. These are the ones that I've got to finish. Okay, and so I've got some stuff here. And so I kind of broke those up. 18 spot or quick illustrations where it's something like I just need to add a tree, or there's stuff like this. Where's that one? This one would be easier to understand. This one, you guys have seen this one. And on the left side, that page doesn't exist. On the right side, I've already finished that page. But on the left side, I'm mostly going to do big spot blacks and just a couple edges. And so I would consider that kind of an easy page. That's why it has an E next to it, right? And it's almost done, and so that's why it's mostly green on the right side. And so that would be considered an easy page. A complicated page, I've still got to like lay everything out. But something like this, on the left there, I would just have to kind of fill that in. This would be like a spot illustration where I'm not going to do a background. I'm not going to do like an entire environment. It's going to be a floating thing. This page on the right is going to be super easy. The one on the left is done, not colored, but finished, inked. And on the right, it's just like continuing the cliff. So I have somewhere to put the letters. So anyway, that's been a super helpful exercise to be able to do that. And so that's kind of the plan that I'm working on there. So then I've just mainly been thumbnailing a lot, but something that I've found, does this make you guys dizzy? Is this like super annoying to do? Because I think I'm going to spin and talk. That's my new plan. This is the problem with having a not a reclining chair. What is this? Office chair? Office chair. When you're doing videos and holding the camera yourself. So yeah, sorry, I distracted myself. But I've been having a lot of problems in the last 3 weeks, just like imposter syndrome's firing up hard, and like anxiety and all kinds of stuff. And so it's been kind of slow going because I'm like beating myself up. Also, I don't know why I didn't lead with this. And this is probably a big part of it. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't tell you guys this. I talked about my stupid fish before I talked about this. We're matched with a baby. We're going to adopt. We're super excited about it. It's kind of, I've just been talking to so many people about it that I kind of assume that everybody knows about it already. But we're very excited. And I am going to talk about this because it's a huge part of my life. And so I will continue to do video updates about this as we go. But yeah, we're very stoked about it. So there's some super scary things about it. For example, I have become exceptionally used to not having an infant around. And that's really hard. So my daughter, my only child, is 8. And she's been wiping her own bum for quite a long time. And I haven't had to deal with, she sleeps through the night. You know what I mean? Like an 8-year-old, right? And like a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. And it's been a long time since we've had an infant in the house. And so that's going to be a change. That will be interesting. So anyway, right now the mom who's choosing to place, who just isn't ready to have a kid around at this point in time in her life, is due in July. And so we're going to go and pick the baby up from the hospital, and hopefully everything goes well with that. But it's exciting. It'll be fun. And we'll see. Got really used to having like one kid, and she's really smart and fairly self-sufficient. And so we'll see what like a second kid does, and the 8-year-old, 0-year-old dynamic, how that goes. And Scarlett's super excited. Scarlett is very, very excited to be a big sister. She's going to be awesome. And so that's going to be really fun. Anyway, yeah. And so, yeah, that's huge. Huge news. So, yeah. So lots of things that are happening all at the same time. Let's recap. So I put up gig posters. You can see the gig posters. So this room is fairly interesting. I'm trying not to be fat. That's an ongoing effort. I've been working with ArtLink 212 and having my work torn apart and having to redo a bunch of pages and things. So, for example, re-ink things like that. And I've got a plan. Got my plan going on here about what we're going to do with everything. And I'm gonna be a dad again. So yeah, fun times. Anyway, I think one of my I don't know. I gotta get back in the habit of doing videos, but I've been working on stuff. I just haven't been recording anything or doing time lapse or whatever. But While I'm talking, I'm sure that you're seeing some of the thumbnail stuff that I'm working on and trying to sketch out. Anyway, this is a super long video. You guys are awesome. I will catch you later. KoryKerr.com is new and has lots of fun stuff on it, and you should go check it out. And talk to me on Twitter. And here, leave comments and things. So, okay, bye.